So again, today we're working on the large intestine flow, and we're just starting by deepening our breath a little bit. So sometimes, again, when we're very busy, we get into our sympathetic nervous system and we start to breathe from the chest area and maybe going into the solar plexus, but it's not going down into the belly. And it's really important to have the abdominal breathing so that our parasympathetic nervous system can kick in, and that's where healing takes place. That's where healing takes place, in the deep breaths. And we, in Jin Shin, we pay a lot of attention to the big breath, the deeper breath, because that's where healing takes place, right? You can do all the motions and all the exercises, but if you're not breathing, then the energy is not going to move. So that's where so let's take 3 more breaths here, and then we'll move into the large intestine flow, which is in the Art of Jin Shin book. And I'm actually going to read from the core textbook. So 3 more breaths. Inhale fully. So you feel your lower abdomen rise, and then exhale, letting go of all you don't need anymore. That's very cleansing and very important also, the exhale. So large intestine actually allows for us to exhale, descending energy. And then the lung energy allows for us to inhale, ascending energy. And you may feel a pulsation in your ring finger, and that's the energy movement. So that's what we will look for when we practice, is for this pulsation, the moving of energy. Energy spiraling from skin surface to core. And now you can place your hands on your 11s. Yeah, if one side is, I see you have a little bandage on. I see you. So yes, you can do whatever side feels comfortable for you. We always adapt Jin Shin to whatever is comfortable for you. So I'm going to stay on this side. This side feels a little bit tighter to me, fuller. And then with the other hand, I will hold the index finger, right? So that's the first step. So taking a few breaths here. This is a finger flow, and the finger flows, they harmonize and help our reproductive functions for men and for women in the body, also harmonizing the shoulders, because the large intestine flow moves from the index finger, it moves down on the outside of the hand, and then through the upper shoulder, and then crosses through thoracic vertebrae 1, which is here, and then moves to the other side. So this is a really important flow to harmonize our shoulders. So if we have tension or stress on our 11s here on the shoulders, then this flow is very important. So I think the topic today seems to be stress. If we have stress in our life, we pile it up right on our 11. We call 11 also the hub where we pile up all the stress. And stress can be work related, it can be family, it can be something that you create yourself, thought patterns. So we all probably had the experience of stress at some point of our lives. And then, so this flow is really helpful for one, because it really clears the 11s. So let's take one more full breath here. Inhale, fill up your lungs all the way, and then exhale it out. Exhale completely to the toes. Let go of all you don't need. And then gently let go your hand of the index finger and place it on your on your 13. So now we're on the same side, 11 and 13. So this flow is very easy to practice on yourself, really, and very dynamic. This flow peaks in the morning between 6 and 8, and that's often when we get up and go to the bathroom. So it's important that our intestines are working well at that time, 6 to 8 a.m. So if you at that time feel extremely tired, or you're not ready to get up, or you can't get out of bed, or something like that, that is large intestine talking. And then it's very helpful to practice this flow, so you bring it up to speed. So when at a certain time of day we get tired, or we get this or that, at every day at 3 a.m. or every afternoon, I get really tired, then it's a certain energy that's talking. So individually, these locations tell a whole story. 13, harmonizing our feelings, our emotions. And if you have any tenderness in there, just hold it gently. Of course, we have breast tissue here, particularly on women, so it can be sensitive. But when you hold it, it really doesn't need to be painful. So if it's painful, just hold it gently till it opens up, So we are on this safety energy location. The location is about the size of the palm of your hand. And when we have stress, or when we have things going on in our lives, these locations can close, they can lock, and we can feel it as a tightness or as a congestion. And then when we hold it, it starts to open up. So just experience it for yourself. With the breath, these locations open up very quickly. And one of the ways is when we feel this pulsation, when the energy starts to spiral. And that's why we don't have to press. We just hold it lightly. Again, just a reminder to drop your shoulders a little bit lower now as you're practicing. Because very often also we're used to this, like we're like this all the time and we're not even aware of it. So Jin Shin really brings awareness to our bodies, to our mind, getting to know your body. And Alison, I hope this is okay for you to practice this flow. Can you do the other side? No. Okay. Yeah, good. It's always going to be, the large intestine flow moves through the arm. So in any case, this flow is going to be helpful for you. But if you can't do this, then you can always go back to holding the fingers. They are dynamic. All right, gently take your hand off and 13, and we'll place it on 14 here. 14, harmonizing our waistline. So you see, 11 harmonizes the hip line, 13 the chest line, and then 14 the waistline. So Jin Shin is a beautiful system because it works on so many different levels at the same time. At the same time. Chest line, waistline, hip line, body, mind, spirit, all the emotions, all the energy pathways move through. That's why it was so brilliantly put together by Master Jerome Rai. So just take a notice of how this feels. You're 14. Like you can, go in a little bit, see if is there any tenderness in there. If there is, then just place your hand on it gently and wait for it to open again, for this location to open. It's very important. And it can go very quickly. It can open almost instantly. So all you need to do is breathe, and then you will feel this pulsation. And that's all we need to do when we practice Jin Shin. So it really is like a meditation. The mind becomes quiet and the energy begins to harmonize. And in all these modalities, we go for the same thing, and that is to ultimately let go and become the breath. There's nothing we have to do anymore. Very nice. And now let's take our hand off 14 and we'll place it on the opposite 21. Again, taking some inventory of dropping the shoulders. 21, releasing mental, emotional stress. So this is stress of all we're doing, and this is 21, more mental, emotional stress. Stomach flow begins here. Worldly desires. 21 also clears the waistline. Stomach energy, worry. If we worry a lot, it can burden the stomach energy. If we have a lot of sadness and grief, it can burden the large intestine energy. And think about it, if you have any projects in any of these organs, what is your emotion that's really taking the lead in your life? And so can you identify it? Does it make sense to you? And then can you work with that to change it, to again, to let it go? It's all about letting go. It's just, just too simple, right? For us complicated human beings. We like a little complexity. We like to study, and that's very valid also. All right, let's gently take our hand off 21 and we'll move it to 22 here. So now we're on the same side again, 11 and 22. I really like this hold. Just as a hold in and of itself, I very often just do it like this. Very comfortable. And when we practice self-help also, you can change your hands around if it feels more comfortable. And maybe that's helpful for you, Alison. I mean, with your other hand, with your one hand that is free, you can join us, wherever we go. Even if you hold with one hand, it's more helpful than the other. So maybe this is not the most easy flow for you to practice, but you can definitely modify it. So even if you can do a little bit, when you feel the pulsation, that's when the energy begins to harmonize. So that's even with one hand. And we see people doing this all the time, holding just one simple hold. So this is great for a respiratory system because 22 also allows for the lungs to open up, the top of the lungs. And if you have a respiratory project, then you probably will feel some tightness or tenderness in there. This flow is also very, very helpful for the gums. Sometimes people have bleeding gums, gum pain or swollen gums, or projects in their teeth. Then large intestine is helpful because it moves through the lower gums and through the upper gums. So the left adjustment moves through the right lower teeth if you're on the left side. Are we on the last step? No, not yet. So just move your hand over now to the other 22. Find the freedom within Jin Shin, right? Sometimes people say, oh, I've been doing it all wrong. And no, that's probably exactly what you need. So honor that, to listen to your own body. There is no right and wrong. It's just energy, and it's going to find its way. Very, very nice. So that's the large intestine. So let's do the first step on the other side. So place your hand over the shoulder and holding your index finger. So we can do both sides or one side, and just observing what feels more comfortable for you. So this is a great flow if your index finger is stiffening, or if you have nose bleeding, aching shoulders. I told you it moves through here and then crosses through the shoulders to the opposite side and then moves down the front of the body. It helps also with pain in the throat pain. I noticed you I have a note here. I noticed you cross your legs. I was always told off for, oh, yeah, well, yeah, she was told off for crossing her legs, but it's honestly probably exactly what I need, right? I'm holding my 8. I'm connecting heaven and earth. The left 8 cools the body. So there's not really a telling off or right or wrong, For me, probably today this is less comfortable. Somehow I like to hold my 8. So I'm not so I'm really into feeling what feels right to you and then honoring that and maybe understanding why you're why you like to sit like that or do it like that. So Jin Shin will always work. Who told you that? That was a very strict person who told you, was always told off for this and told it would not work. Well, when the energy starts to move, it does work. So when you feel the pulsation, the energy is moving, whether you want it or not. Which side of the practice helps constipation? So let's go over hold for constipation right now, because it can be either side. I would just see which side of the 11 feels tight and then goes into that side. But I like to share with you one specific hold for constipation. And that is holding, oh, I'm already holding it. The left 8 harmonizes constipation. And with that, you can hold the right 2, the right lower back, and the left 8 for constipation. And it doesn't mean that if you have the opposite, that it's going to be bad, because the energy is going to find its way. So, but this is directly, if you have constipation, holding the left 8 and the right 2 is going to be helpful. Very nice. So I hope this gives you some insights. And now let's go back to holding our ring finger just to end up. So just to understand, because somebody asked this, we have, by the way, a study circle tomorrow. If you'd like to join, I think you can get it on our website. But in any case, one of the questions was, if the large intestine flow moves through the index finger, right? Why do we hold the ring finger to harmonize the second depth? And that is because it works on a different level. Holding the ring finger works on a depth level, for those of you who are avid students. Okay, so on an organ function level, you can hold the index finger to harmonize the large intestine. And on a depth level, you can hold the ring finger. So come take the core with me. I know some of you are. I'm so excited. I will be in London in the end of November, presenting the core. And you will learn all about that. But for now, just know depth level, organ function level. There are all these different levels in the art of Jin Shin. So for the meetup group, if you have any questions, please unmute yourselves. And we'll have Facebook listen in today. If you have any questions or if you have any more comments that you like to write in the